Welcome back to We Rock and Math with Miss Catherine. Today's lesson is going to be on adding fractions with like denominators. We have three important steps that we want to remember when we are adding fractions with like denominators. The first step is to check for like denominators. The second step is to add, and the third step is to simplify. So looking at the first step, we're checking for like denominators. As a review, denominator means the number that is on the bottom part of a fraction. So in this case, in the first example, the denominator would be 5, and the top part of the fraction is called the numerator. So that would be a 3. So the denominator is a 5. So looking at our first example, we check for our like denominators. We see that we have a 5 on the bottom of this first fraction here. And in our second fraction, we also have this 5. So that means we have a like denominator. They share a common denominator. After you've checked that they have the same denominator, the same number on the bottom, the next step is just to add. So we're going to add. You can add straight across, starting from the numerator. So imagine this is one equation, 3 plus 1, and the denominator is actually going to stay the same. A common mistake students make is to add 5 plus 5 because they think the numerator is adding 2. So that means the denominator is adding also, but that's not the case. You want to remember that the denominator is going to stay the same on the bottom. You're only adding the numbers on top that are in the numerator. We would just add the numerators. So we have 3 plus 1, which equals 4, because 3 plus 1 is 4. Now we have the numerator part of our fraction, the number that's on top of the fraction. Then we're just going to copy this denominator over, which is 5. So we have 3/5 plus 1/5 equals 4/5. Let's look at our second example. We have 2/4 plus 1/4. Again, same idea. We check for the like denominators, make sure they are the same exact number on the bottom, which they are. Then you know that it's okay to add. Adding the numerators across, you would add 2 plus 1, which equals 3. That's our numerator. Then we copy our denominator down, which is a 4. So our answer is 3/4. Let's look at our next example. We have 6/9 plus 2/9. So we check for like denominators. We see we have a 9 here and a 9 here. They're the same, they have like denominators. Then you check the top. Now you can add the numbers on the top. We have 6 plus 2, which equals 8. So 8 is our top part of the fraction, our numerator. Then for the denominator, it would stay the same. And we just copy the 9 down. 9 is our denominator for this example. So you end up having 8/9. Let's look at our next example, number 4. We have 5/6 plus 1/6. Check for like denominators. We see they're the same. We have 6 here and 6 here. Then we're going to add 5 plus 1 equals 6. And we're going to copy over the denominator. And we're actually not done here. You can simplify this because if you know your division facts, you'll notice that whenever you have the numerator and the denominator, whenever the number is the same on the top and the bottom, is going to equal 1. Because 6 divided by 6 equals 1. So we can simplify that as 1. So simplifying is exactly what it sounds like. You're breaking it down even further. Let's look at our next example. We have 4/12 plus 4/12. So we check that the denominators are the same, which they are. We have 12 here and 12 here. Now we can add the numerators. So 4 plus 4 equals 8. Then we copy the denominator down, which is just a 12. Now we can simplify this even further. Notice that this one is a little bit different than our previous example because here we could do 6 divided by 6, 6 over 6, which equals 1. And the top number and the bottom number is the same. But it's a little bit different here in example 5. So we have 8 on the top and 12 on the bottom. In this case, we want to see what number goes into 8 and 12. So you can think maybe 2. If you know your division facts, whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So we're going to write the division sign. So we're dividing the top and bottom by 2 because we can simplify it even further. So if you know your division facts, 8 divided by 2 equals 4. 12 divided by 2 equals 6. And actually, we can simplify this one more step. It looks like 2 can go into 4 and 6. So we're going to divide 4 by 2 and 6 by 2. So our final answer is 2/3. Let me write it over here. 2/3. That's our final answer. Actually, right from the beginning, from 8/12, you can divide by 4 here. Let's give it some room. So if I write down 8 over 12. And you notice that we divide by 2 times. So that means you can use 4. So if you divide top and bottom by 4, you're going to get the same answer. So we have 8 divided by 4, which equals 2, and 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So these are 2 ways that you can get this answer, 2/3. All right, let's look at our last example, our very last example. So we have 4/8 plus 2/8. 4/8 and 2/8 both have the same denominator, the same number on the bottom. So that means we can add our numerators. So we have 4 plus 2, which equals 6. Then we're going to copy the denominator across, 6 over 8. And we want to check if you simplify, which we can. So we want to think which number can go both into 6 and 8. Well, it looks like we can use 2 again. So divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. Because remember, you want to divide the number, whatever you divide on the top, you do the same to the bottom. So this way you don't change the value of the fraction, which equals, well, 6 divided by 2 equals 3, and 8 divided by 2 equals 4. And just to be sure, you can check if that's a final answer, if you can divide it even more, if there's another number that can go both into 3 and 4, which there isn't. So that's our final answer. Alright, I hope this video was able to give you a better idea on how to add fractions with like denominators. Thanks so much for watching. If you thought this video was helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment what other topics you would like to see down below in the video. Until then, see you next time. Thanks everyone.